Good morning. This is John Rennert with KUIT, and thank you for showing up online for this Wednesday webinar. Thanks to KUIT's Technology Instruction and Engagement Group for hosting this series. We are going to talk today about video streaming, hosting and streaming at KU, and the enterprise platform that we have available to you, faculty, staff, even students in a number of environments. And we're going to show you some things that you may know and you may not know, and we'll see how that goes. So make sure I have controls here. I think we're going to talk for, oops, that's me. My name is John Rennert. I'm coordinator of the Media Production Studio with KUIT. And just a reminder, a couple items, is that we are recording today's session. So if you get here late, need to leave early, or want to say to a friend, hey, you should have heard the amazing things that John talked about today, you'll be able to pass a link on. You should also check out KU Technology's YouTube site. A number of pieces of content there, most of them from that Thai group, that are very valuable if you care about KUIT things. And man, I care about KUIT things. So we are using Zoom today, of course, and you're already in it, but they would like us to review some ideas that maybe it'd be a good idea to mute your microphone so we don't have a lot of competing voices. If you'd like to go full screen, you can expand the meeting window up there on the top right. And if you'd like to see who else is in the meeting, you can open the participants panel. That'll give you a sidebar at the top. You can definitely open the chat window, and that's a good thing to have open if you'd like to ask a question or see any back channel conversation that's happening. Like, what is this guy talking about? Those kind of things. Feel free to ask questions. Tennille from Technology Instruction Engagement is here with me today, and she'll be monitoring our chat window. So if she has any questions, she'll make sure to throw something at me and maybe we can get an answer to it. And also there at the bottom, you may see controls for if you would like to, other than chat, let us know anything non-verbally. Maybe I'll ask some yes or no questions at some point, and that'd be a way you respond to those. Those are at the bottom of the participants window, those controls. So real quickly, here's what we're going to cover today. I'd like to spend really just 25, 30 minutes tops. I'm going to watch time, hopefully good, to go through this brief agenda and really open it up to questions or any conversation via chat, that if you have some use cases that you like to, or things that we can follow up on. I'm sure we have some diversity of who's used the Kaltura tools before and who hasn't. Some might have some specific questions, some might be new to the platform altogether and have some general questions. So I just want to do an overview, and then really, if we'd like to dig down some, we can. So we're going to talk about Kaltura, the ecosystem we're working with, and how Kaltura works with video in our platform and our licensed platform here. The two environments we use, which is MediaHub and Blackboard. There's a bit of a thing here where we use the word MediaHub often as a substitute for the word Kaltura, which is fine with me. MediaHub's kind of our YouTube at KU. Kaltura is the vendor that we license this through. I intentionally mentioned the vendor's name a number of times, and I'll show you why in a little bit, because the name is called out in some of the tools. So if you're using the tool, I want you to understand that Kaltura is the same as MediaHub. It is the tool that we're using. I'll show you how you can edit uploads in MediaHub and some features that will be helpful or interesting, hopefully. And we'll talk about support, take some questions. A quick 30-second ad for the Media Production Studio. We have 3 full-time staff in Beauty Call here at the Lawrence campus, and we're about supporting multimedia. So we do a number of video projects, audio projects. We do event coverage as a service, and we support a number of enterprise applications that deal with video and audio, including Kaltura. So the Media Production Studio, it's very much a space. It's very much a resource, recording resource specifically, but also post-production workspace. But it's also a set of services, a set of staff. We have 3 full-time staff. You can see pictured there. And as well as we have about 10 students right now. And they help keep us open and extend our hours a little bit and do a lot of our tapings and those kind of things. So let's dive into Kaltura. Kaltura, again, is the vendor we're using for to license a cloud delivery system, audio and video delivery. And we have that in 2 environments. There's a little cloud. That's how you know it's a cloud video system. But Blackboard, which is probably 80% of our uploads, come through Blackboard and are delivered through Blackboard with student material or instructional material for students. And then a separate site, MediaHub. It's just mediahub.ku.edu, which is we'll talk more definitively, but it is a place for you to privately upload and manage your video content. Now, just to, these are the tools provided by KU. Our Kaltura is the platform provided by KU to help you share video content and audio content. KUIT doesn't have a particular stance on when should I use YouTube, when should I use Vimeo, when should I use these other sharing tools, these social tools that are already out there. One is because those are really good tools, but it is important that KU provide, especially in our instructional settings, but also departmental compliance. You know, I can go through a number of lists. It's important that KU provides a solution so we can provide, offer secure, in some cases confidential, and some, you know, a lot of things that we can provide settings that allow you to do your job, whether it's to teach or do departmental functions. So there's a good purpose to why we have Kaltura, but I'm not going to sit here and say Kaltura over everything. There's lots of good reasons. I just mentioned Ty has a YouTube channel. They do that because they can gain subscribers, and there's an easy way to search for their content that's a little different for here. So we're going to focus on KU content when we're talking about KU or Kaltura right now, and that the audience would be, in most cases, in a lot of cases, maybe a little more restricted. You're having a focused delivery when you're using Kaltura. So I call it the ecosystem. It's not very complicated of what we'll talk about, at least today. But from my desk, from my device, I'm going to be uploading to the cloud. And then I can distribute those things through either Blackboard or MediaHub. I say through either because as you make an upload through your personal account, through your KU, using your KU Online D as an identifier, and if you're old like me, you might have a chosen alias as your online ID, but I know new employees get the letters and numbers. But as that content is tied to that account, your content will be available in both of these environments, Blackboard or MediaHub. So it's upload once, and then you can use in a number of in these 2 different environments. And that can mean a number of places, which could mean multiple courses or in a lot of web pages and all those kind of things. How does Kaltura work with video? What kind of video does it ingest? So here's a kind of an overview of file formats. Both of those say and more because they're always adding stuff, and all new codecs are new formats are created all the time, and it's attempting to do that. I see the question about MediaHub. I'm going to walk through MediaHub real clearly here, hopefully in just a second. So I will definitely get to that, you bet. What's kind of cool is when you upload a video to Kaltura, there's actually, it's not just that file that sits there. It transcodes. I think right now we have 8 flavors that are transcoded for every video upload, which is basically copies of that video that are different size, different quality, different file formats that are intentionally have those variables because of who they will be delivering to. For instance, if I have a really high-speed connection, I'm going to get the best version of that video. If I have a slow dial-up connection, I have a user that has that, they might get a little lesser quality, but it's small enough so that they can keep up and there isn't like buffering and all that kind of stuff. So it's this adaptive delivery that's happening. There are different versions for mobile devices. As we know, the Apple stuff wants something a little different than the Android phones, for instance. So let's talk about MediaHub, and I'm going to dive in. I'm going to switch over to the actual web page in a second. So MediaHub is available to KU faculty, staff, and GTAs. They all have access. It is a website. It's essentially Kaltura's version of YouTube. And I'd say that with an asterisk because of how we've set it up. But it's basically a place, as we've set up, so that you can, as a faculty, staff, or GTA, share your content outside of a Blackboard course. So if you're not using it for Blackboard, you're using departmental materials, you're using anything to do with your work that includes video, you can upload it there and then share it as you'd like to. You can share it as a link, which will go to a MediaHub page with just that video on it, or you can have embed code, just like YouTube provides, where you can take that embed code and, like the CMS, if you're using Drupal, if you're using the KU content management system, you could upload your video to MediaHub and then take that code and copy it into the website. So let's do that. You're gonna see my screen mess up for a second, but just sharing my screen. So again, MediaHub is just, let me go full screen here. Remember how to get out of that. MediaHub.ku.edu, and when you come there, it's a very basic screen, which asks you for your KU online ID and password, and I'm gonna log in there. And what it'll show you, if you've never been to MediaHub before, it won't show you much of anything because you've never uploaded anything. But what it will show you is any of your content. So I said how it's YouTube, but it's kind of different because of how we set it up. We've set everything up as private ownership in YouTube. So every upload that every piece of video that I upload to MediaHub is in my account and only my account, and only I can see it. So I manage my content through MediaHub, just as I've done here. This is a personal repository for me. Now for every one of these uploads, I can click on them. These are different videos. And I'm sure for YouTube users and stuff, this is all kind of familiar. It's just a video player. But as I click on that file, you can see below I have this share button. So I can review the content here, I can manage it, I can come over, and I'll do this in a second, and edit it. I can do some things, but if I've uploaded a video and I want to share it in MediaHub, I just go to the share button and I can grab this link and send that to whoever I want to. That then is a, so we like to say that this is a private site, which means these pages aren't indexed on search pages on Google or anything. I can't find this video from anywhere on the web. I need my credentials. I need to be authenticated as John Rennert to get to this page until I grab this link, copy it, and then I send an email over to my friend Tennille. And then Tennille has this link, and as she clicks on it, it'll open this page with just the video on it. Now then, I think the phrase used to be security by obscurity. This is only as secure as, at this point, once I've distributed this, it's only as secure as I let it be, or as Tennille lets it be. I've sent it to Tennille. She can now send this to 50 of her friends and they'll be able to all view the video. So you do have to be thoughtful about where you're sharing your links and if you want them to be seen. But clearly, if I have a piece of content I want to share with colleagues in California or Australia or wherever, this would be an easy way to upload a video, grab this link, and then send that off. In the same way you see these tabs here, I can also grab Embed Code. I have a couple choices here about what player style to use and what size of player I'd want to use. Again, YouTube users will find this kind of familiar. And this all changes the code in here, and I can take this iframe HTML embed code, copy it, and then paste it in my website. And this iframe code works really nicely in the CMS, which is what a large percentage of our users do. But it'll work in WordPress, or it'll work anywhere where HTML, it'll work in Dreamweaver if you're building a website from scratch. That is pretty much the process of grabbing a link, sharing it, and all that. You may be asking, well, how do I share a video in the first place? I'm going to go back to the front page. You can see these tools along the top. I have an Add New button. And I can do some things here. One, most obviously, is media upload. And this is all a pretty easy process. I can go grab my video. It says choose a file to upload. And I will grab this small little video. It'll show it upload. I can change its name if I'd like here. It just populates with the file name. I can give it a description. If I send people to that page, they'll see the description belowhand. So this is kind of interesting. It's usually just something you won't want to change. We want to keep our videos unlisted. If I list it as private, literally I am the only person that can see it. So if I had one that I distributed and I no longer wanted people to be able to view it, I could change that to private. But it would, which would be useful, I guess. But if it's unlisted, it's still only going to be shared with people if I deliberately share it. Publish doesn't mean anything to us. Again, it's the way we've set it up. Some people use this product, they call it MediaSpace, as a real YouTube that you can search and all that, and you can publish to channels. We don't do that. We're using it as a kind of a personal private repository. I click Save, so I can change my name change there. And as I go back to the front page here, there was a page, you can see I've added this video. And because it was so short, it's ready to go. I click on that. I don't know if we'll have audio through here. I don't think we will. But that's already ready to play. It's already done that transcoding enough to at least get it to this part. It's still probably transcoding a few of the flavors. I can go down and share there. I can, under actions of this video, again, I'm just clicked on the video. No, it's important. I can, of course, delete the video. So as far as management of the video, I can delete it. Can publish. We don't use, so that doesn't matter much. I can click edit and go back and edit those, the name and those kind of things. But I can also launch an editor. I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit in my little agenda here. And you can see that there is a basic HTML5 editor built into MediaHub. A really useful thing, because lots of times you will have maybe a screen recording or something that you just looked into a webcam to talk about, or to give an announcement or whatnot, and you just want to trim off the front or something like that. And that's really just as easy as grabbing this, setting it to where it is. It even has a waveform here. It can show you the words that you spoke and all that, and click save, and that will delete that or trim that down. This editor is really easy to use. You can trim the ends. It also has, if you use the playhead here, I can take my playhead, so I can set my in and my out, which is the same as trimming. So I can set my in and my out, so that now I have a new length of a video. Or I can, with the scissors, make a split, and make a split here, and make a split here, and I can say, hey, I don't want this part anymore. I'm just going to hit delete. It's going to go away. And actually now I have, if I hit save right now, this will collapse, and this will only be minus this content. So I'll only have a 10-second video instead of a 7-second video. I'm not going to save those. I'm going to go back out to the front here, because I want to show, before we dive too far into some features you can do with that, I also want to show pretty much this same process for those of you that are instructors of Blackboard courses, or would like to use Blackboard, is the fact that I can go into a course and do the same thing. So there are very specific instructions when you're in a content area, but if I go to build content, you may be used to creating items, setting web links, those kind of things. You can see here at the end, and this is why I really emphasize that it is named Kaltura, because this is how you'll access this. So build content, and then you click on Kaltura Media. And now I'm in my media. And you can see it's the exact same media from MediaHub. So these two data, it's one database. It's just two connectors to it, Blackboard and MediaHub, that connect to that. And so I can, this is the one you can see John Rennert 5 minutes ago uploaded this. Sure, I'd be happy to show that. So if I go to any content area in Blackboard, and what we call content areas, and I'm a Blackboard user a lot, and I do know my way around, but I might not use the terminology right always. Any place where you can add documents, and I'm going to go to the course documents. I think that's a built-in. From the main menu, if you go to that, if you go to build content, and then Kaltura Media. So it's on this second tab. But you can see I have access now. So this kind of assumes I've already uploaded my video. I can select that and deliver it. Let's assume I didn't. You have an Add New button here. You see those same choices. I go to Media Upload, choose one. Let me choose another one. Change the name if I want to. You can even click Save while it's uploading. You guys get to see the fast wireless at work in the Price Computing Center. And click Save. This save will be for any tiles here. If I click Save and Embed, now I've saved any changes I made. Now I'm going to embed this in my course, just as I if I'd hit select, I'd hit the same thing. And now you see a very familiar Blackboard item. So I'll say, give that a name. I could give it a description. This is like just like any other Blackboard upload, track views, that kind of stuff. It's a little misleading. It's going to track how many times the player is viewed. It's not going to tell you anything about you know, how long it was played or how much it was played. And now I have, as a new item, this this is kind of my sandbox folder. Sorry if there's a bunch of junk in here, but this is the video I just selected. And if I hit play, actually kind of hit it twice because we don't have these ready for autoplay, and it starts playing the video I just uploaded. And you can see under these controls, we've tried to make this as friendly for students and the student use. And in our lecture capture tool, these tools are, most of these are available too. But you have speed controls. Not probably interesting to you, but I kind of fought this for a long time of adding a variable speed control because a lot of the players did it. And I'm like, who's going to want to listen to something back fast or slow or whatever? And I'm sure you all are way ahead of me that you already did this or something. But I had a number of students, including my student employees, say, you're crazy. We throw everything at 1.5 speed on YouTube or 1.5 speed as far as lecture capture or whatever, because you can get through the content, still understand it, but get through the content faster. And I thought that was pretty neat. Anyway, we've added that. We also have, if you have a HD content, they'll give you a number of flavor choices. Maybe you want to go slower if you see that it's buffering or whatnot. Full screen controls here too. So that is how you add to Blackboard. I think the important thing we always want to show there is that I have access to both of those data, or both, anything I've uploaded once, I have access to in both of those settings. So this was, I went ahead and skipped ahead, but your MediaHub uploads are available in Blackboard, and you can, but you can also upload and manage directly in Blackboard as we hit that add new. If I want to delete that item, I would delete that as I would any other Blackboard item, any, you know, Word document or anything. This build item to Kaltura Media is where you're going to do that from a course content area. And an interesting thing, and I'd be happy to dive deeper into this in just a few minutes, but you can also, anywhere with the text editor, show you where that is here. So if I go to build content, I'm just going to add an item and not a video this time. Anywhere that the text editor appears, where you can do a description, you also have under this mashups, I don't know if I can make this bigger or not, yeah. Under this mashups area, you have Kaltura Media. So I wouldn't usually, if you have the option of doing the build item Kaltura Media, that's an easier workflow. But what this does is it allows you anywhere that, it allows students to also upload content anywhere where you give them the text editor, which specifically don't include announcements, those are an instructor tool, but the discussion board and assignments. So if you had a project where you would like students to turn in audio video content, you could set up a discussion board just for that purpose, and then they would, as a post, add a video. Same with assignments. So that workflow again for them is to, on an assignment, as they respond, you know they get this text box. So instead of uploading or attaching a file as they might with an assignment, and they still could do that, but they would also click here to Kaltura Media, which would allow them to upload a video to their ownership but that will come to you as an assignment. As you go to the gradebook, click on that assignment, you'll be able to watch the video. For those of you that aren't Blackboard users, you didn't care about that at all, but you got to learn something anyway. There's a third thing, and I'm going to push against time here, so I don't want to get too deep, but every Blackboard course has a media gallery, and that's a place that would be really useful if you wanted your students, so students can add media here as well, and if you click add new, you can do media upload, or they can choose from their already uploaded content. The media gallery is a good place if you want students to all put their content in one place, and you want them especially to be able to see each other's content and do some peer review and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of a third choice of how, a second choice how they can add content in a third place where you can add stuff. I know some instructors just fill them out media gallery. They put all their videos in the media gallery. Most people don't though. They use them more in the structural the course documents. I hope that's helpful for you Blackboard users. So as we showed, I launched the editor there and showed how you can trim and split a video. You can, when you click on edit video, you can do that trim, you can do that split, you can change the name, you can make a copy. So this save button, or which changes the entry, or save as copy, which is like doing a file save as, making a new copy in Microsoft Word or something. Makes a new version of the video that so you might not want to mess with the original. You can also, from the editing button after an upload, so I'm back in MediaHub, it's going to show me all my videos. Here's my new video. Let me go to the older one. If I go to the edit tab here, and we know we can change the name and all that kind of stuff, and that's the first tab. We have some other tabs here, and I'll just run through these. I'll run through a couple of these really quick. But one thing we can do is we can change the thumbnail. So what's the thumbnail? It's the picture that's shown on the front frame. So we have a lot of people that come in and do, two camera, single shot, talk and do an announcement, and you want to talk to the camera on your webcam, and the frame they chose, which I think is like 3 seconds or 5 seconds in, is you got your tongue out, or it's your face is weird looking, or it's wrong. So you can upload a video or a image to replace this thumbnail, and this is what people see before they hit play. You can capture, which means I can just go to a frame. Hopefully these are all pretty much the same. I could go to that frame and hit capture, and now that's my new thumbnail. Or something I like to do, especially with a long video, it won't work as well with this one, is you can go to auto generate, and it'll go through the video and give you some choices. And then I don't have to maybe pick one, it can pick one for me, and I say, hey, I really like that one. And it'll change to that. You can see that progress bar. So that's a nice, we get asked about that a lot. So downloads, you've uploaded a video and you now want it back because you didn't save a copy. First we'd say, hey, save a copy. But if you click on the downloads button, you can download. You just click on source, and that will basically download the same version of the video that you uploaded. And just a little tip also from the player on this edit screen, we have a download button here too. Whoops. That lets you download the source as well. And just a couple things here. I'm going to show you on a slide in a minute, but two things. One is called timeline. I really like this. I'll show you why in a little bit. This lets you upload like a PowerPoint presentation. And let's say I had a 3-slide PowerPoint presentation that accompanied this video. I can upload that, set those timings to when I want and it's a very easy process through here I don't have a sample one ready, but to set those. And then it lets you play it back, and in the player that we play back, you actually get a dual stream player. You get the choice of watching the content or the video. or you can watch side by side, or you can watch picture in picture, and it really changes the player a lot in all our environments that let you do that. I can come back to this and show that if anyone's interested. It also it touches on a lecture capture tool, or a personal capture tool that we have built in here. The other one is collaboration, and I mentioned this as a feature as well. This was something that was just recently enabled, and we like it. So if I had this video uploaded and maybe I'm leaving KU, and this was a constant problem that we had, I might want to change the ownership of this, and I might pass it off to Tennille, because she's going to do all my MediaHub workshops in the future. So I can just go change media owner and put in her, let's see, are you in here? They are here. What's that? Yeah, so I can just use a last name. I can use a first name, probably not as, but I can choose someone to pass that off to. They'll show up there as long as they've ever used MediaHub before, and if someone doesn't show up there that you'd like to collaborate with, then tell them to go to mediahub.ku.edu and upload a 5-second video, and then they'll be there. The other one is collaborators, and this is nice. It's basically co-ownership, and I can do the same thing here. Select her and then name her a co-editor. Co-publisher, I wish we could make this go away. We can't. It's, you know, the problem with some of these cloud tools is we can't control the interface very much, but that doesn't matter to us because we don't publish the channels. So, but co-editor then would allow, now that I didn't give ownership there, or I would not have given ownership there, I would have only given her the ability to edit it. And what that does is it allows you to, so I'm at the main MediaHub page, and I'm going to click a filter here. And I'm not just going to want to look for media I own, but I can also look for media I can edit. So if Tennille logged in after I did that, clicked on media I can edit, that video would appear there. It's still just one upload to the server, but she can change the title, she can do the timeline, she can make a new thumbnail, all those things. Doesn't change anything about where the video resides or where it's embedded or anything like that. It just gives someone else access. So as we eliminated group accounts, or we created groups at KUIT, but we eliminated the ability to have shared accounts, basically. This is how you would share uploaded content. I am going to get to the end of this because so here are some other things that you might be interested in that Kaltura allows for us. Kaltura has available for us, I should say. So this capture tool is a webcam screen capture application. I'm going to show it in just a second because I know some people are kind of interested. It's a new feature. It's basically a light version of what people know as Camtasia or some of these products that allows you to do screen capture. It's also just a good webcam tool. We have a couple classes that are using it because students need to do an exercise, you know, let's say just on a webcam. We have some language courses that are using those. But the screen capture makes it such that faculty are saying, oh, maybe I can do all of this at home. Maybe I can do some of this voice over PowerPoint, that kind of thing, short modules. Maybe I could do that just from my computer. I'll show that in a second. Timeline is what we showed in that edit tab where you can sync PowerPoint or PDF and have that available in that player. So in-video quizzing is a really neat idea. You upload a video. Let's say I have a 20-minute video. 20 minutes is a long time for someone just to sit and watch and not do anything, but you needed 20 minutes of content. Maybe I can pick 4 spots in that video to add a question and build some interactivity in, do a progress check of, did you understand this content? Did you get it? Then after they answer that question, the video starts right at that point. I'd be happy to show that. If you go to MediaHub and experiment with that, it's fairly obvious how it works. But you can just build in these bookmarks basically of where a quiz will kind of stop the viewer, make them answer a question, and then continue on. Give them the feedback of whether they got it right or not, and then move on. We do kind of think of this as a progress check tool and not a grading tool. I understand some grade book integration is coming with that, but one of the LMSs it's working with now, it actually doesn't work very well, I hear. So I would do that more of, hey, did you get that? If not, you should have. Maybe go back and watch, do that kind of stuff rather than having any kind of stakes involved. Media collaboration we talked about. As far as transferring ownership or being a co-editor. And this is kind of interesting, use Zoom users. And you are a Zoom user now because we're using Zoom. But for those of you who have Zoom licenses or have taken advantage of the Zoom licenses that KUIT offers, you can go into your Zoom. I'll just do it real fast. Sorry for those of you that don't use this or want to use this, but if you sign in to the, oh, is it kind of lagging? Or is it, maybe it's just you. Sorry, I'm seeing different things on my screen. Maybe it's just me. If I go into my profile, which is I don't think there's anything very private here. You might see my phone number. Please don't call me, whatever you do. I'd be happy to call me. If I go into my profile, in my Zoom profile, and I go to the very bottom, there's this, oops, sorry, Kaltura user ID. I've put in my online ID. That's the only thing I had to do for this to work. And basically when that happens, by adding your online ID to a Zoom profile in the Kaltura user ID field, your Zoom cloud recordings, so when I'm in Zoom and I make a cloud recording, after that's done, after I've stopped my meeting, the recording ends, or I stop the recording, the cloud recording will automatically transfer to my Kaltura account in my ownership. So it'll be in my media when I log into my media. I say it'll be there in the amount of time it takes to transcode. You'll actually see a blank entry there that will have the name pretty soon. But you know, if you have a 3-hour Zoom meeting, which sounds awesome, then you'll have a little bit of time to wait for that to build a usable version of that. That's important. We went ahead and used that integration because if you are one of those users using cloud recordings, there's a 120-day limit to how long we're keeping those on the Zoom. We have a limit of space on that, and so after 120 days, all cloud Zoom recordings get deleted. So you either have to download it and keep it on your computer, or in this case, it'll transfer right over to your Kaltura space, and then it's very usable. You go into MediaHub, click on the, if this was my recording, click on it, and I can share it and share it out to people without many steps involved by you. So if anyone's still with me, you may have some questions or something after this, but I do want to mention a good place to get support for faculty and staff for using MediaHub, faculty, staff, and GTAs that have access to that. First of all, remember to change the URLs from the template you're using. Don't go to kansas.zoom.us. Go to, and I have this, go to technology.ku.edu/services/streaming media, which is where you'll find some help. Documentation, including uploading and sharing videos with MediaHub. You can definitely call the CSC. I want to promote the fact that while we're kind of considered tier 2, definitely contact me, contact the Media Production Studio, the ITMPS at ku.edu. Go to our website for that contact info. We are that if it's a complex question at all, it'll end up with us anyway. So if you'd like to do that. If you're working with the Blackboard tool, any of the Kaltura Blackboard tool, and it's specific to kind of a Blackboard problem and not a Kaltura issue, then feel free to contact the educational technologist, the Blackboard help at the Lawrence or Edwards campus. Again, if you know it's kind of a complicated built-in Kaltura thing, it's probably going to end up with us anyway, so feel free to reach out to me to do that. So I zipped through some stuff, but if we have some questions, I'd be happy to take them. And even if we don't, I'm going to show something else in 5 minutes before everybody runs off to lunch. So I'll wait for some questions to come in, but I do want to show, because I'm sure somebody out there is interested, the Kaltura capture tool. And even if you're not, I'm interested. I like to brag about new tools. So I'm in MediaHub. I'm at the main page. I can add new, I can do a media upload. And this is where you can play with other stuff. So YouTube, very quickly, it just allows you to put in a YouTube URL, and it's going to play that YouTube video in the Kaltura container. So why would you do that? Maybe you don't want YouTube branding on your instructional materials and whatnot, even if it's being served by YouTube in their player and whatnot. More importantly, it's going to make all your being put in the Kaltura player. If you have other assets on a web page or that you're delivering to someone, it's going to make those all look the same. You're not going to have some videos in one player and other videos in another. So it's not a super useful tool. If someone takes a video down from YouTube that you added that way, it won't work. So it is just basically putting the player around YouTube. And yeah, we'll get, that's a good question, Renee, about submitting videos for assignments. We have directions written up. I'll provide, we do a follow-up email, don't we, to these? I'll provide those with using the text editor. Thanks for that. I'm going to instead go down to the Kaltura capture tool. Now, the Kaltura capture tool is a application that you do download. It's a very quick download. It'll download to your computer, Windows, PC. You can see the little links down here. If you've already installed it, it'll launch automatically. I've already installed it, so it's going to do that. I'm going to open the link with it. But if I hadn't, I can just go here and download it. So if I'm using it here, but then I access MediaHub from another computer that doesn't have it, I'll have to download it again. The important thing, though, is that from both those computers, I'm logged in with my account. So anything that I upload or I create from either of those computers is going to go to my MediaHub account, which is really why this works this way. So I'm going to open the link, and this really complicated recorder is going to come up here as an application. And I'm kind of kidding because I hope I didn't lose my microphone. I think I did. Let me, oh no, I shouldn't have. Sorry about that. I waited too long to hit the recorder. Try to use the same microphone in two places. It doesn't love that. And I'm using it for Zoom. Sorry. I want to do add new, Kaltura capture. And I'm going to open the link. Oh, now I have two instances of here. Perfect. Here's the, I was kind of kidding about it being a complicated application. This is the whole thing. I can choose what to, hi there. I can choose what to use as a camera if I want to use a camera, or I can choose not to use a camera. I can choose what to use as far as a screen recorder, or I can choose not to do a screen. Maybe I'll just do both of those. And I can choose what microphone on my computer to use, or I can not use a microphone, which I'm not going to do this time. You probably wouldn't ever do that, because usually you want to be heard, but I don't want to start a bunch of craziness here. And once I've made those choices, I hit the big red button, and I'm going to get a countdown when that happens. And you can see down here I have a little counter happening. And now I can go do my PowerPoint presentation. I can do my walk through a website. I can pretty much do whatever I want to do that I want to show. I can talk over that as I'm doing now. I haven't updated this app, but they've just added a really basic annotation tool where I can draw just like you can on PowerPoint and whatnot. So it's its simplicity is its best feature. And if I want to stop the recording, I'll hit stop. And I'm running too many things, so my computer's mad at me. But it says, "Are you sure you want to stop this recording?" I'm going to say, "Yep." And I get my video here, which I can give a name, which I won't change the name, but I can give that a unique name, and I can do save and upload. And now that's being uploaded. You can say it said pending, but now it's being uploaded from the local computer. It does do the actual recording locally on the computer, and now it's taken this time to upload to MediaHub, to Kaltura's server. Same thing like any other content. If I upload in, or if I make this recording a MediaHub and it gets completed here, I can go over to Blackboard and deliver it. So I'm not stuck in MediaHub by any means. If I go to MediaHub now, there should be an entry for this. If I hit refresh here, there's a little refresh button, and you can see now that is transcoding. And since I talked for a few seconds, it'll take a little time to be ready. But that should be ready in just a few minutes. That pretty much covers what I wanted to accomplish today. Does anything stand out as to questions or scenarios you might have that you'd like to clarify or get any information on? Oh, thank you. I did not. So let's take a, if I go up to add new, I'm going to add a new video quiz. Now, the thing you would have to do before you do this step is you would have to have the video uploaded already that you want to use. So I'll just use one of mine. And I'll try and find one that I don't want to mess up too bad. So let's use, this is 30 seconds, that should be enough. I'm going to select that video. And we come to this little HTML5 tool. And the screen goes white. Fully expected that. Oh. I think this means I need to tell IT I need a new computer. I have at least 13 people who are going to vouch for me on that. Doing those steps again. So I have the computer or I have the video, and then I hit the in-video quizzing or the video quizzing. I can name the quiz here. Here are these. You can get a welcome message. I'm just going to leave these default. So scores, that's going to be a summary at the end of the So after the quiz is submitted, I'm going to see what my score is and whether or not you want to include the correct answers, whether or not you want to change the answers. And this is kind of an interesting, do you want to make it so they have to answer? I mean, a lot of people would say yes to that, but it might be something that you just go, hey, this is for their own benefit or for fun, so I will allow them to skip. So I use my playhead here and set it to where I want that quiz to, sorry, oh my gosh, I just did that. I hit done when I thought I was hitting something else. Where is my, oh, I choose my question type wherever my play is. I choose my question type, so I'm going to do a true-false question. Okay, I'm going to do a multiple choice question because apparently that's interesting. I haven't seen this before. I was able to do true-false. I'll get to the bottom of that. I'm going to do a multiple choice question apparently. So my question and option one, I guess I could have done true-false with just those two options. And I'll click save there. And you can see that's going to be entered in at where my playhead is. If I want to take the playhead and bring it here, I can add another one. I'm just going to add the one for this. I'm going to click done. And I'm going to go to the media page. This is that same video with the added quiz. And you can see it basically makes a new version of the video. So I have the same name of the video, and then it adds quiz to it. I can change that title. I should get the welcome screen. So this was all editable. Click continue here. It's going to play until you can even see where the, oh my gosh, computer's going crazy. Sorry, stuff's popping up on me. But you can see where it went to the playhead, stopped here, and I'm going to make a choice, and then it's going to continue on. And I can, at the end, review. Oops, sorry. Submit's kind of funny because you're submitting for this score just for the player. And if I had 10 questions here, it would do question by question, give the, you know, this would all be more informational if I had made a real set of questions here. So in the interest of speed, I kind of went over that too fast, but I promise you, if you go into that from MediaHub, that's not a particular tough challenge to get through those. And I'd be happy to get on a call with somebody and walk through that. What I don't want to do is keep people here past noon. And so I definitely, before you go, want to say thanks for being on here. I'll be happy to stay and answer any questions as long as you need. But thank you for attending, and I hope everybody has a great lunch and a great Wednesday and all that. So thank you very much. Thank you all.